Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty interesting news and actually kind of see a little bit more on the console back and forth going on over here, where we've actually seen some kind of insane brand new numbers. And this also is the big comparison that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox is kind of apparently losing when it comes to huge, massive sales. But as well, we get to see everything around the world, different regions, different stuff, and also even a big comparison on even the Xbox Series X and S to the Xbox 360. We have a lot of big news to go cover and a lot of brand news to go and talk about, so let's go and talk about it. We've also had a pretty, I feel like, chill news week when it comes to new information and information coming out, so hopefully throughout these next few weeks, or maybe after the holiday weekend, we can maybe get some good stuff popping off too. So throughout this video, give me your thoughts and comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, we have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We have the Target links down below and Amazon links as well. And let's go dive into some very, very juicy information where it does seem like the PlayStation 5 and Xbox are kind of losing. So, as you guys know, every now and then we do get to have the actual proper information coming out in terms of sales, analytic numbers, and what we're expecting. And this one is actually kind of more surprising than we thought. So we have the VG charts over here, who's doing their usually by every few weeks, every few months type information with the PS5 versus Xbox Series X and S versus the Switch launch sales comparison as of now with week 93 going on here with the sales numbers. So this weekly series compares all the aligned launch sales of the Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch, and this is actually more of an intriguing week than we would think. It should be noted that the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X and S had a worldwide launch, while the PS5 launch was split over the course of 2 weeks too as well, so always keep that in mind while looking through these numbers. And obviously too, the Nintendo Switch has also been released a little bit earlier too as well, depending on the time zone. So first and foremost, I want to kind of go over the global numbers and global sales. If you guys remember us kind of going through some of these numbers not too long ago, it did go and show that pretty much the PlayStation 5 and the Switch were neck and neck. They were very, very close to each other. This is also just in comparison to their launch numbers. As you guys can see, the PlayStation did really good on launch, then kind of tapered out. Switch had huge, really random jumps, and then it was kind of going back and forth with them being a weed. PlayStation above, and then below, and then it kind of seeming like it's pretty much matching. And then this is what I want to highlight, especially throughout this video. The Nintendo Switch has gone absolutely ham. Now, the Xbox has still been kind of just slogging along. They have almost, I think, never actually been in first place in terms of console numbers, but it does kind of seem like they're still growing and competing pretty well, and like their chart pretty much lines up with the PlayStation. Like, it's a little bit lower, on a slightly lower, lift, but there's like the occasional nice little bump ups, around the holidays, and they're still there. Although with this, the Switch is going absolutely just straight up. Like, that literally looks like it's just going whoop like a rocket. And I do want to say, this is probably due to the Splatoon brand new console launch, which did actually just went and happened. So very intriguing stuff with that for sure. So, if you guys don't know, there was a brand new one that came out a few days ago, and I'm sure the Best Buy, Target, Amazon, etc. are probably churning that out. And I'm sure those sales are going to probably keep on going throughout these next 2 weeks or so, because Splatoon 3 is still not even fully officially out as of right this second. So as of right now, the game itself is still in the pre-order, and same with the consoles, because I don't believe the consoles have been sent out as of yet. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe some places have done it, but I do think a lot of places are more so shipping it whenever the game Splatoon 3 comes out. So you guys can see this huge, massive spike over here, which has now put the Switch at around 26 million consoles sold, at least in the comparison numbers. The PS5 at 22.4 million, which is still very good, and then the Xbox Series X and S at 16.5 million. Though the first 93 weeks available worldwide, the Nintendo Switch is ahead of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S. This also, in my honest opinion, I'm not sure if it's just like way back in the day and maybe maybe there's another holiday possibly, just for just my own verification too as well for that huge grump over there. But I kind of think it might have been from the Splatoon, and if not, either way, the Splatoon has probably been driving up those consoles a lot. That was just kind of my assumption. So I guess we'll see how the article goes, but just letting you guys know on the distinction on that. For the first 93 weeks available worldwide, the Nintendo Switch is already ahead of the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Switch was ahead of the PS5 by 3.45 million units, and 9.37 million units ahead of the Xbox Series X and S. While the PS5 as of right now, which is probably the bigger comparison for most folks, PS5 versus Xbox, is actually at a pretty good, 6 million units ahead of it. So looking at the market share throughout these weeks too as well, the Switch is surprisingly still in the lead. Switch has a pretty much 40% market share, PS5 sits at 34.6, and the Xbox Series X and S is at 25.5. So we're still seeing all around really good numbers with this, and we are seeing how close everything is, but just you keep on looking at this huge Switch dive up. It's insane to see. So with the PS5 versus Xbox Series X and S, the Switch is about a 1 million above it, and then the Xbox Series X is only about 600,000 down below. Though the first, this is also more in the US. So then the first 93 weeks available in the United States, the Nintendo Switch is ahead. Obviously, they just churn out consoles nonstop. And the Xbox is actually doing very good in one of the biggest markets, aka America. So it's kind of cool to see on how close this is, as you guys can maybe look through the chart. We've also kind of have seen some big times where the Xbox has actually had bigger jumps and has gotten closer than we'd expect. And right now, it's looking very, very close. That's extremely close, and also look at the trajectories too as well. And this also kind of just corresponds with the Xbox starting off just a little bit lower in comparison to as well. So also, if you're going to look at the EU though, the PlayStation is actually funny enough winning hard in the EU even compared to the Switch, which is cool to see. So the PlayStation over here, as you guys can see these numbers, is around 8 million ever since they've had their initial launch week cycles, while the Switch is at the 6.3, and then the Xbox Series X and S is at 4.8, which I do want to reiterate. Those are some good numbers for the Xbox, but you can kind of if you kind of compare the graphs, you look at this, you could tell the PlayStation is winning. You see the Switch coming back. We need some more big growth for the Xbox. While for this one in America, you can see they're very, very close. Globally, it's a little bit tighter, but not as much as this. This is a pretty big, wide margin. And as well, if you guys want to look at some other locations such as Japan, Japan is still the really strange location for us, where the Switch is at 6 million sales. Look at these charts from the Switch. It's ridiculous. While the PS5 is only at 1.8, which is still, not awful, but not really as big as we'd expect, and then the Xbox is only at 300,000 too as well. So basically, Japan has still been really, really hard to go and kind of, stay committed when it comes to all this stuff. It just really doesn't look like they're doing that good in other side regions. But in America, I know a lot of my audience is also American, they're doing pretty good. This is that's 7.7 million consoles. That's pretty good at the end of the day. But the one big thing, though, is the fact that the PlayStation is doing very well, but the Switch still, to this day, is doing insane. Like I said, I think this might just be in relation towards the first few months. So I'm not sure if this was maybe holidays, because the Switch technically launched in March, while all these other consoles launched in November. So I'm not really sure. You can kind of see how their graphs kind of change. So it's very intriguing to go and see nonetheless. But man, the Switch is just consistently owning. But it has been close. A lot of the stuff has been closer than we're expecting as we go through all these numbers. It does kind of seem though the Xbox does need to bump up its global pressure and global connections. Think India, China, Japan, Korea, Australia, or whatever, because right now it does seem pretty low. So basically the Switch right now is leading with a 73.8% market share. If you guys look at throughout the total numbers, PS5 sits at 22.5, and then if you look at this, the Xbox is only at 3.7%. So it does kind of still seem like the PS5 has been doing very, very well, depending on the region, but the Switch is just such an unstoppable beast. And this also leads into the fact of comparing these numbers from the Xbox prior consoles to the new Xbox Series X and S. We're going to actually go and see some of these actual big gaps and comparisons with the 360, which a lot of us loved, doing still relatively alright, but it does go and show that the Xbox Series X and S has been doing fantastically globally in comparison with an even higher chart, higher number, higher projected numbers, and as well more consistent, even off the first initial week of console launch. So if you guys are kind of looking at the chart too as well, obviously the Xbox 360 is donezo, but if we kind of look through this chart, we can maybe even see the Xbox finally breaking over the 100 million mark as time goes on, especially if you do get a Pro or Slim or whatever in the future. So it's been awesome to go and see the Xbox kind of breaking their prior records. It's been lovely to see this PlayStation and Xbox still doing well, and I just don't know how anyone can ever stop the Nintendo Switch at this point, because that console it's just always churning. I don't know, man. I don't know. So give me your thoughts and comments down below as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console controller. Target links too as well. And I'll see you guys up maybe for one more little bonus video later on tonight. Although the news has been very dry.